This episode is for you if you have ads, Instagram or TikTok content bringing in 10 to 15 people every day into your world. Those people are not converting into your signature offer. This is for you today. Hi, my name is Gwen. I'm a backend sales strategist and I help women who have built already a 6 or 7 figure business, but still act as the sales system. So every single sale is relying on them live launching or selling, turn their backend around so it makes sales without them. So today I'm really talking to all of the women who I see online, and this is happening everywhere in my client, but also in the entire industry of women who have built, founded amazing businesses. But those businesses are only making sales when they are doing a live. So showing up doing a live on Instagram or on TikTok, or they're running ads, or maybe from trial reels or ads, they're having something that people can opt it in, and having new people coming on the email list or coming as a follower. And those people are not coming into the signature offer. So what is actually happening? Because you may have the email newsletter, you may have an automation, a mini chat automation, sending them some stuff. But why are they not coming into your signature offer? This is really the question we're going to answer today. And I'm going to show you exactly the work we have been doing with my clients to change this completely around. And what is happening also is that most people are going to look at the wrong layer, at the wrong thing to fix. So they're going to go into their sales page and be like, oh, let me look at the sales page of my signature offer because I have this, but people are not upgrading. So what is happening? And the problem is almost never there. So they end up just tweaking a lot of different things. The sales page of this, the mini chat automation, the ads, copy, the creative. And honestly, by changing a lot of things at the same time, we actually don't know what we have to change. I have done a PhD back in France in underwater archaeology, so having absolutely nothing to do with funnels. But what I know is how to do research and how to use data to change the things that needs to actually be changed. And this is why we need to first observe and be able to identify what is the number one thing that we need to change. So this is exactly what we want to talk about today. So this episode is perfect for you, and we're going to go through the layers of what we actually need to look at if this is happening to you. So the first thing that I want you to see is when we do a live launch, okay, when we do a live launch compared to when we do a funnel or when we do back-end sales and we're directing people towards our email list or something else, what is the difference and why are they not working the same way? Because a lot of you are amazing. You're amazing at live launching. Well, your offers are amazing. Obviously, that's why you have so many clients, but it's also that your experience when you do a live launch, all the intention and everything that you planned is something. And then when you do the funnel, you also have planned this. You have done maybe emails, you have your landing page, like you have done the work. It's not that you just like slapped a random landing page with 3 lines and be like, okay, buy from me. No, you actually did put effort in this. But what is happening is that when you do a live launch, okay, so come with me into this experience of like when you are doing the live launch and how you handle things. You go live, you know, the energy that you have, you know, how you create urgency, be like, oh, 3 people already sent me a DM, like I just have 2 more spots for another application, da, da, da. You are building urgency and scarcity and really reacting to what is happening. You're handling objection depending on what people are saying, and your energy is really present. Okay, that's really when we do a live launch. And women who are coming in your world or whoever is coming in your world, they have been maybe watching you for so many months and then they have 48 hours to buy or they have 7 days to buy these very specific offers. And you have spent weeks in your content building momentum for this. Okay. You haven't launched your entire offer with just 1 week. Okay. You have built momentum. And so there is an entire energy that has been built for this moment that you have designed for them. That's what we do when we do a launch, right? And so when we look at a launch and then we look at a funnel for my clients, those are completely different things, okay? And so yes, in a funnel, by the way, we do want to mimic your live experience and we have some tactics to do this that work very, very well. But the truth is that your live launch has another job. His job is not the same as your funnel, okay? And so the job is different because it takes someone through, in your funnel, you're going to take someone through your world, through your own story, through your own result. And you do this one thing at a time. Like, it's really different than when we are building a launch and the energy that goes behind the launch. And so what we're building with the funnel is really painting the picture of who we are, the result that we are giving, the stories, what we are really about with our values. And of course, also for them to make sure that we shift their beliefs so they believe that they can have the result. Obviously, because if they can't believe that they have the result, they're never going to sign up to your offer. But we're not here to talk about the entire funnel experience. So I'm going to shut up about this. But what I mean is that, you see, we have like a very different experience when we're going to build this in the back end and in the front end. The front end being your content, your live launches. So the problem is that most people build their funnel like an automated version of their live launch. That means that they're going to use, if you do a 5-day challenge, you're going to reuse your 5-day challenge, and you're going to reuse the emails that were working for your 5-day challenge with the sales page and everything, except that you are not there. So the thing that actually carried through in your live launch, which is you are there, you're not there anymore. And so then it also encoded even more in you the belief that people buy when you are live. Because it's true, people buy more when you are live because that's what you have built, right? And I'm laughing about this, but it is not funny. It is actually very frustrating when you are in this situation because you have built this entire experience and then you put it in your backend and it doesn't work. And I want to be very honest with you, like, this was working 2020, 2021, 2022, still a little bit in 2023, but this just doesn't work in 2026 anymore. Okay. That's why when we build a funnel, a backend experience, we have to do this completely differently. But now let's still go back into you having new people every day, because I want first, like, to really acknowledge how amazing this is. You having 10 to 15 new people coming every day means that you have a system that is generating demand. Okay. So you know how to generate demand towards what you are creating with your Instagram content, your TikTok content, your YouTube channel, your podcast, your ads. You have ways for people to be aware of you. And when they become aware of you, which is amazing, they're like, yes, I want to follow more. I want to see more of this. Amazing. Now what we want is to take those 10 and 15 people and transform them into buyers, and not just a low ticket buyer, okay, because that's cool, but we want them to go into your signature program. That's why you build this scalable offer, right? So we have 3 different layers that we want to audit, okay? So the first layer that I want you to see, which is not your sales page, what we want to see is this entry offer that you're bringing people in, or this content. So you may have a lead magnet that is bringing people into your email list. You may have different content. So what we want to see is this content, whatever it is, this micro offer, if you have like a $11, $22 offer, or your free offer, your lead magnet, who is coming from this? And why are they not coming in your signature offer? So the secret here is not going to be changing the topic, the format, but it's really about looking at 2 different elements. Am I attracting the right person with this? And then, are they actually watching or reading or consuming this thing? Because when we have a cold lead, so when we have a lot of people coming from our YouTube channel, from our social media content, from anything that we have, they are cold, right? They are cold. Or your ads, they also cold. So you have those new people coming in, and now you're asking them to make a commitment of watching the thing that they have opted in. So of course, we have to create desire. We have to create curiosity. We need to have an email sequence that is actually going to emphasize the consumption of the thing that we have. And this, by the way, consumption email sequence comes before having a sales sequence, so before we sell stuff. And we need to tackle very specific things in it. Okay, so you want to first start thinking, do I have this in place? Do I have a consumption email sequence that is helping them actually do the thing? And by doing the thing, they're going to have a result, but they're also going to trust you more. Okay. So what I want you to ask yourself right now is, what is the commitment that you are asking someone to do, someone who has never heard of you? And are you helping them go through this commitment before even starting to sell them something? Okay. This is going to be very important for you if you have people coming, but they are not converting. Then what we're going to look at is the second part of this email sequence is going to be our sales email sequence. And by the way, like this week, for example, I'm hosting the Email Queen Mastermind where we are crafting those email sequences, and my clients inside my 12 months mastermind elite, of course, have access to this, but we are doing a lot more work to ensure that our backend is always supporting new people coming into our world and paying us daily. New people. So now looking at this sales email sequence, I want you to see that most of them are written for a warm lead. And that's normal. That's normal. Okay. But we want to change that. So if you have ads right now bringing people in, or you have your YouTube channel or all of those places that I mentioned already 3 times, so I have to stop mentioning them. We want to make sure that they are written for cold leads. And 95% of the email sequence I'm reviewing, and you can imagine that I have reviewed hundreds of them already, they are not written for a cold person. Okay. And so this is something that you really want to change. Of course, if you need support with this, send me a DM and we can see how we can work together. So your email sequence is working for cold traffic. But most of them are really not talking to the person who do not know you, do not know your world, do not know your value, do not know anything. And so what a lot of people are doing is skipping, first of all, this consumption email sequence and going straight into the selling. But people are not going to buy from you because they haven't digested the first thing and they don't even know if they trust you yet. So what you want is to not skip the relationship building phase, okay? Because this is so important. That's how you build connection. And that's why in your live launch, it converts so well, is because you are doing this recognition of the person, of where they are at, building the energy up. Okay. So in this email sequence inside your funnel or after whatever they have opted in, you want to make sure that the work that you do is not the same as if they were in a live masterclass. Okay. Or if they were in a DM conversation with you, or they had a sales calls with you. Okay. That's completely different. And so what we want to see in this email sequence, and that's the layer that you want to review, is that, am I building relationship? Am I really doing the work through changing their belief? Because if you want them to see you as a leader, you also have to change people's belief around what they are doing and show them a different way of doing things. And for them to realize, oh my goodness, yes, like, why am I not even doing this? Okay, the same I'm actually doing with you right now and that I do with all of my clients. You also want to handle objection. So handling objection around, oh yeah, but this works better, or I have done this. And how am I doing this in the live element, and how can I do this differently in my backend experience? So we want to really start looking at our emails, not as I'm sending 2 emails and you have to buy my signature offer. No, this is not what we are doing. So the second thing that I want you to review then after your entry offer is your email sequence. And now that's the last layer that I want that we cover. And then we're going to another point, is what happens if someone says no. So now you have those 10 to 15 people coming into your world every day. You are offering them something, maybe your signature offer, and then they're not going there. So if they say no to this, and of course we have to review this so more people say yes, but if they say no, what happens after that? Do you have an intentional pathway created for them if they say no, to show them that you see them, to show them that they matter, and still offer them something else so they are going to buy this other thing? Because it would be weird that you attract the perfect dream client with your messaging and everything you have created. They say no to your signature offer and they again say no to the other thing that you offer. That means you are not attracting the right people, or you don't know how to sell in your emails. Because when you understand buyer psychology and you know how to write an email sequence that convert, of course they're going to buy one thing or the other. So we want to really look at what is the upgrade or downsell, which then I call a fallback offer. If they don't buy, what are you selling? And if people are saying no to everything, why? Because the problem is not them, okay? The problem is not you neither. The problem is the experience they're going through is not supporting them in making the decision to say yes, to see this as it is obvious. And for you, it is obvious. It's like you're looking at your offer being like, this is the best thing on the planet. So why they're not saying yes if I have attracted the dream client? Okay. Something that I want to share with you is that I have clients running ads. It's actually not at all the majority of my clients. The majority of my clients do only organic. But what they do is from their trial reels or their ads, or like all of my clients are attracting so many new people in their world, but those people are not moving up. They're not moving up into the other offers. My clients don't understand why they can make 20, 40, 100K in a live launch, and then the funnel is not converting the same way. And so I wanted to share this with you because it is not just you. Okay. It is not just you. And what we do is that we go through an audit. So an audit of looking at the entry offer, looking at the email sequence, looking at the fallback offer, and we're going to find exactly what is the problem and upgrade all of this. This is how you're going to make one change, the change that we know, when I was speaking about data as a scientist, I think like we have this change, we make this change and we see the result of this change, and then we see what else we need to change. So it's a bit like an experiment, okay? We are experimenting. We're not experimenting and changing everything at once. If not, we don't know what's actually working. But this is exactly how, by doing one change at a time, how we're going to put your conversion rate. So how many people are buying inside your, let's say, funnel, email sequence, or pathway, backend pathway that you have up. When I did this, I had a funnel where I omitted just one element. There are 6 different elements that make someone buys into any experience. And I omitted just one. And 0 people bought. I think I had 60 people go into this funnel and 0 people bought. And you may think like, that's crazy. You are the funnel queen. Why people were not buying? And I was testing this. Okay. And it did not work. At 60 people, I was like, okay, let's change it now. That's enough. And then I added this one element. So one of the 6 trigger to buy, and I had 100% conversion rate after this, not forever, but for the next 19 people, if I'm right with the number, that bought straight away after. So 60 said no. And then the 19 after, without changing any messaging, anything, it said just adding one thing into the funnel. Then everyone was saying yes. Okay. And I think this funnel then converted at 30%. So this is why it's so important to do this work. I'm not just talking about things for things, like this is so important. So what I want you to understand now is that this is way bigger than just guessing. Okay, like I'm going to listen to this YouTube video or podcast, and that when recorded, and I'm just going to like start tweaking the things. And something that I see for all of my clients is that they are just too close. They're just too close also from the thing. And this is why that when you bring me into your team, when you bring me into your business, I look at the entire thing first of all, but I'm also going to review all of your numbers and all of your pages and tell you exactly where the problem is. So when you are ready to stop just attracting a bunch of people with your amazing content and actually for them to convert, send me a DM on Instagram and we can have a chat. At the moment, I have 1 spot left in 1-to-1 and I have 3 spots left in my 12 months elite mastermind. I do not do short thing. I'm not the booty call of my industry, like I like to say, but it's also because I do long-term relationship. Long-term relationship helps me to actually know your business. If we work together for, let's say, 3 months, we are going to be able to build a funnel. But for me to know your entire business and for you to be able to make the same amount of money with your backend and with your front end, we are going to need to work for a longer time together. And a lot of people will not tell you this because a lot of people want to tell you, that's fine, come to work with me for 1 week and we're going to change your entire business. But it's just not the reality, okay? You are a CEO in your business. You already know that. It takes 6 to 12 months to actually make long-lasting changes in your business. And you probably know this because with your clients, you're also selling a 6 to 12 months experience. In my experience with all of my clients, and I served over 1,000 people now online, it takes more than 6 months to upgrade your entire backend, your client experiences, so people stay, like all of the thing that actually makes your backend sales for you. So you have a business where you can work 4 days a week, you can go on holiday and actually match the same income than when you were live launches. So send me a DM on Instagram with the word scale and let's have a chat if you are ready to actually fix this in your business. I talk to you all very soon.